Time for a snapshot kit review. Coming up, the World War II RAF Airfield by ICM. Chocks away, chaps! So in this review, we're going to look at the ICM boxing of the World War II RAF Airfield. Kit number is DS4802, and this is a 1/48th kit. I picked this up in my local hobby store, and it looks like a pretty good bargain, I've got to be honest. So if you see it around, it's fairly well priced. And let's have a look at what's in the box. So first of all, we've got our box art. And then on our sides, we've got some information there. And obviously this is a 14 plus kit. Just a repeat of our artwork on side. And then strangely enough, two variants of a Spitfire. So promising already. ICM have made a nice solid box for it to go in, which pops up. And then we find our kit. So we've got one bag of sprues. We've got a second bag of sprues. A third bag of sprues. I don't want that at all, actually. I turn off that one. Advanced. So once we've taken the outer sleeve off, we are left with a really sturdy looking box. Let's see what we've got inside. And we've got one bag of sprues. Surprisingly, two bags. Surprisingly, a second bag. And then a third bunch of sprues. A really cool little advert from ICM. Been seeing that around on the internet. And then we have got a set of instructions, a second set of instructions, a third set of instructions. So our first set of instructions is for the airfield equipment, which you can see here. Nice and simple, some nice extra detail for a diorama. Obviously a picture of the sprue, which we'll have a closer look at in a second. And then a picture of the figures that come with this kit. And a call out for all of the paints that you might want to use. These are listed as model master paints, which you can quite easily find your variation depending on what paints you use. So let's have a look at that sprue, shall we? So this is the sprue for the airfield equipment. As you can see, this is the table, our gas canister, jerry can, other bits and pieces, quite nice and clear and crisp. We've got our vise that's there. Then looking at the figures, we've got our dog, quite nicely moulded, a little bit of seam work required. Our figures, our female wren, reasonably crisp. The pilot is nice and crisp, nice detail on there. And then we'll look at our other figures just here. Face just there. As you can see on the pictures I'm showing, quite nice and crisp. So I like that. That's our first sprue. So as I said before, we've got two sets of instructions here. We've got on the left hand side of the screen we have the Spitfire Mark 9, and on the other side we have the Spitfire Mark 7. So what we'll do is we'll go with the Mark 7 first, and in the instructions you will see we have our decals. So you can see nice crisp decals, not a lot of carrier film around them. However, the lettering here has got quite a bit on these second bits here, but you can cut that back and trim it up. Nice set of decals. So starting off with our instructions, as you can see, we've got the engine here, nice and simply put together. We have our main sheet there of our decals. Again, a call out for your paints you may require, and then some instructions on the different variants, etc., as to what you might want to put on. Then going back to our main instructions, as you can see, we're straight into the cockpit detail. Quite a bit going on in there. Putting our fuselage together, and then moving forward with canopies, our wings, etc. And then finally to the underneath propeller, etc. So quite a basic set of instructions. So onto our bag of goodies for one of our Spitfire variants. All in one bag, which is a bit of a shame. I can understand why they did that. However, at least the canopies that look nice and clear are in a separate bag with a bit of protection. Although it does look like there's a little bit of marking on our canopies there. It might be just dust. We'll have a look at that in a minute, a bit more closely. So onto our first sprue. So you can see got some nice detail on our wall for our engine, and also our cockpit instrumentation is there as well. Quite nice. Guns are quite basic, which we have there. So the actual fuselage, as you can see there, we've got some nice crisp detail going on. Quite nice. Our second half of the fuselage obviously is there, and hopefully that's coming out. And then we've got some of our engine detail here as well. This is all looking very nice. Our exhausts and our props all look quite crisp and clear. Can't see any flash as such. There's not a great deal of tidying up to do. The interior of our fuselage has got some nice detail in there as well, so that's going to be quite fun to pick out. Nice surface detail on our wings there, although there is a little bit of mold. The way the mold's gone in, it's made some marks on the plastic itself, as you can probably see there, but that can be possibly resolved. Yeah, nice crisp clean kit so far. So talking of the wings, let's have a quick look at the underneath of our Spitfire. And as you can see there, some nice recessed panel lines, etc. Nice bit of detail which you can pick up. I'm quite liking that indeed. And then our top surfaces, again, we got exposed areas here for our guns. Lots you can be doing with this, awful lots. And like I say, again, you've got your recessed panel lines. Very nice. On our last sprue, we've got a few bits and pieces on here. Again, no flash that I can see, and any panel lines are recessed, all nicely molded. So on to our second Spitfire, and looking again at the canopies in its own little bag. Again, a little bit of rubbing marks here, but are they scratches? I'm not sure. I'm not going to take them out of the bag, but I'm sure they'll polish out anyway, so that's pretty cool. And then again, much the same as what we've just looked at. Some nice detail on our engine wall there. Again, our instrument panels nicely detailed. Pick that up nicely, and our fuselage itself, some nice riveting detail there. Hopefully you can pick that out. And recessed panel lines for sure. So again, nicely molded. Very little cleanup flash that I can see. A little bit here and there, but nothing you wouldn't expect. That's our first sprue. And then our second sprue, again with the engine detail that you have to build up. That's going to be quite a pleasant little kit to make. And again, our fuselage, as you can probably see there, nice recessed detail for you to bring out with your painting. Onto our third sprue, and again, very much the same. The only thing I am a little worried about, as you can probably pick out on the camera here, there's a little bit of swirling going on, and I'm not sure that'll be something you can sand out. Might be, but hopefully it will disappear with our paintwork. Otherwise, that'd be a little bit worrying. Injection molded, obviously, so you're going to get things like that from time to time. But again, nice detail. And lastly, we just do some bombs here, obviously, some radiators, radiator scoop. It's got some nice recessed panel lines, etc. on it. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a fun build. I've not heard anything one way or another about this kit, so be interesting. But there you go. So you've got our top surface of our wings. As you can see, we have got recessed panel lines, some rivet detail, exposed area for our guns, and again a little bit of marking where the injection molding is happening. So hopefully that will go away. But yeah, really quite nice. And the bottom surface is similar. It's all very nice and all recessed. Lots to pick out there. So there you go. So we just look at our instruction manual again. A very simple affair. Again, a very simple affair. Just one sheet. We'll come to the decals in a minute. This explains your variant that you're doing, and obviously, as you can see, it's slightly different in its layout. But again, we're dealing with our engine first, then we're going to our cockpit, etc., putting the two halves together, and then bringing the plane together itself. Attaching our weapons, undercarriage, etc., and the call out at the bottom there for all of our paints that we will require for this particular variant. And then obviously we have got our call out for our decals on our two different options, and obviously our painting instructions, etc., depending on which one you particularly want to go for. And then again, we have our decals here. And again, carrier film on the 2 lettering going together, but you can cut that back if you have any problems with your carrier film. And this is obviously the Mark 9 markings. So yeah, really, really nice. Very impressed with it, with the kit. So there you go. That's the inbox review of the ICM DS4802 World War II RAF Airfield. For me, surprised that there were 2 Spitfires in here and lots of figures, and for around about £25 to £26 for the kit, I think that's pretty much a bargain, you'll agree. We'll see how they build up in the future. But if you've liked this inbox review, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and ensure that you press the bell icon. That way you will not miss any of the up and coming new content coming to the channel. And if you like this video, please make sure you give me a thumbs up, because that will help. Till next time, bye bye.